people not only have to be re-educated to the importance of supporting black business, but the black man himself has to be made aware of the importance of going into business. And once you and I go into business, we own and operate at least the businesses in our community. What we will be doing is developing a situation wherein we will actually be able to create employment for the people in the community. And once you can create some employment in the community where you live, it will eliminate the necessity of you and me having to act ignorantly and disgracefully, boycotting and picketing someplace else, trying to beg him for a job.
Good day, everybody. My name is Robert Tyndale, and I am going to be your host for today's Pan-Canadian West Face2Face event.
My name is Ross Cadastre. I am the Vice President of the Black Business and Professional Association, and I will be your host for today's Pan-Canadian Ontario and Quebec Face-to-Face event. Before getting started, we would like to present a video to set the table for today's topic.
Africa wasn't afforded some of the same services.
Rosie, a Sir George graduate on a master's in McGill, helps organize a computer-centered city.
I can announce that the Government of Canada, in partnership with Canadian banks, is investing nearly $221 million to launch Canada's first ever Black Entrepreneurship Program.
As we gather together, we acknowledge the sacred land on which we reside. It has been a site of human activity for 15,000 years. This land is the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. The territory was the subject of Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, this gathering place is still the home of many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community on this territory. We are also mindful of broken covenants and the need to strive to make right with all our relations. Last but certainly not least, we acknowledge the people of African descent who were brought here against their own will or in search of a safe place to live their lives and raise their children.
Thank you for sharing that video. And so once again, good day to everyone and for the people who are just joining us now. So my name is Robert Tyndale, and I'll be your host today for the West Face-to-Face event.
Again, my name is Ross Cadastre, and I will be your host for the Ontario and Quebec Face-to-Face event.
Also, this is an open event.
So feel free to invite fellow Black entrepreneurs, and don't forget to engage with us on social media.
Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook using the hashtag OneFace or Face Coalition. That's one as in the number one. We're inviting all of you to ask questions in our Q&A box, and we will save some of those questions for the end of the event to answer them. So again, feel just to populate that Q&A box with some of the questions that you have on your minds.
We are united today as a Black community, as Canadians of African and Caribbean descent, from one ocean to another for this important event. As you saw earlier, it has been a journey. And we are at a point in time where we're making history as a community in Canada. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand the floor to Tiffany Callender, the boss lady, the CEO and co-founder for Face. Tiffany?
Thank you so much, Ross. Welcome, everybody. Bonjour. Today, we are going to be presenting our regional event with you, Black Canadians. I'm so happy to see you guys in great numbers joining us today. And as Ross mentioned, who is also a Black business owner and entrepreneur, so obviously glad to have him as a host to invite as many people as possible to this discussion. The idea is to make room for you to ask questions about this historic program, the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund, and our role here at Face to ensure that Black entrepreneurs gain access to capital and support to strengthen their business and ultimately strengthen Black Canada's economy. As the CEO and co-founder of Face, I have to say that it has been an important journey that we embarked on last year. A lot of work and sweat equity into getting us here together to create a historic announcement and opportunity for Black Canadians. It is truly my honor to be a part of this process, and I'm very excited today for you to meet the people that we have had the pleasure of working with and who have joined our team recently to better serve you. Our process today will be very, very short in terms of discussing what Face is in terms of the structure, because you can find all of this information on our website, but we will make sure to maximize the amount of time to hear from you. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Meeting her last year truly has changed my view on what it is to be a boss lady. I would like to introduce to the floor Nadine Spencer, the president of the BBPA. Nadine?
Thank you very much, Tiffany, for that kind introduction, and welcome everyone. We are very thrilled to have you here to talk about this wonderful, great opportunity that is here for all of us. One of our mottos that we say is that no one will get left behind in this initiative. So welcome to the Ontario and Quebec Roundtable. We will answer all your questions and tell you more about the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. It was announced this week by Minister Ng and the Prime Minister, and it is up and ready to serve you like no other program ever announced in this country. From now on, Black businesses will overcome so many financial barriers that we've faced in the past. As a Black business owner, I can relate to those challenges, and we speak to Black business owners across the country, in the city, day by day about the challenges. As president of the Black Business and Professional Association and a co-founder of Face Coalition, I want you to know that we spent the last year, as I said, talking to entrepreneurs like you to find out what you need, not just in this post-pandemic Canada, but just in general to sustain your business. And this is the result. In this case, you're familiar very much with us at the BBPA. We're 39 years old, we'll be 40 next year. And you know, when Denham Jolly founded this organization 39 years ago, he wanted to create an organization with a bunch of like-minded Black leaders that would address the issues of systemic racism and in this country for Black people and Black businesses, and while creating economic opportunity for Black businesses and professionals. So one way the BBPA is doing that is to champion this loan fund program called BAIDS that will help as a part of the process as we apply to prepare Black businesses for FACE, for the loan fund. So our treasurer, Michael Pinnock, will speak shortly about BAIDS. He'll tell you a little bit more about that. But along with FACE, we at the BBPA were certain that the impact of these two programs working together will truly be a game changer for Black businesses and our community. We thank you very much for being with us, and one face, we all will work towards one face in this country. Thank you. Michael?
Thank you, my president. And I'm so passionate about this. You have to show me the time, I may go on forever. But suffice to say that I'm really, really very pleased to be here today to speak on behalf of the BBPA on our BAIDS program that we've introduced, and it's up and running in full blast as we speak. We have added a special program to the list of resources that we're making available. And I use the word faceable. We're gonna make our Black entrepreneurs who apply to FACE for this loan to ensure that it's 100% success. And so folks who have applied or who plan to apply and is of the view that they need to get their books and records up to date, to get their business plans up to date, to be ready to answer those key questions that will be asked, just come over to BAIDS. Apply on the BAIDS platform, and we will fast track your application and work with you. Thanks for coming on board. I see the numbers just popping up, and it tells me that we have got a lot of enthusiasm, and we're working in what truly is an ecosystem. Truly is an ecosystem. I like to use the phrase, you don't need one person to make a hug. You just need a left hand somewhere and a right hand somewhere, and you can make that hug. So thanks for inviting me as one of the panelists, and I look forward to participating and answering the questions.
Thank you so much, Nadine and Michael. It's truly an honor to be part of a talented team at the BBPA. that not only cares about our community, but also has a vision for our community. So thank you for that. Now I'd like to turn you back to Tiffany, who will give us an overview of FACE. Tiffany?
So we at FACE are partners. We are a coalition of groups. And we have the wonderful opportunity to work with Africa Center, who is our regional partner out west. I can say before introducing him, working with Sharif in the last year has been a complete pleasure. Not only a wealth of knowledge, somebody who's positive, gives solutions to problems, but also is just there as a listening ear. And I just can't wait to come out west and visit in Edmonton and going further out west till I hit the Pacific, all under the support of Sharif. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Sharif Haji, the Executive Director of Africa Center.
Thank you, Tiffany. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and the rest of your team, and Robert, and many of our entrepreneurs and community members on the call today. My name is Sharif Haji, and I am the Executive Director of the Africa Center, co-founder of the Federation of African Canadian Economics, FACE. I'm glad to have our CEO here today, and who will be providing answers to your questions for the journey that we kicked off. We've all known the role of racism or its framing at individual level. We also know its implications at an institutional level. We see it in the political spectrum, we see it in the social spectrum, we see it in the economic spectrum. And all those are interlinked and leave ramifications that doesn't stop on one generation, but that continues to generations to generations. Let's pick the example of the economics. That's what FACE is about. Wealth is accumulated assets that we hold. It's the assets that's in your possession, the assets that you transfer to your future generations, your children. Plus, these assets grow in a compounded interest, or they also grow in a different means to do a proliferation of those assets. United States is a country that collects and analyzes race and related data, whether it is economy or any other aspect. The data from the US shows us that the Black households' wealth is significantly less than their white counterparts. You may be wondering, what about Canada? I have been wondering the same. Well, we don't collect it. It's unfortunate. Such a wealth inequity exists in Canada. It's an expression of systemic racism that our Prime Minister recognizes. And this racial inequity is a primary way that economic inequity is organized in the country, such as Canada, a capitalist settler colonial state. A lot of us have been voicing these concerns, trying to make changes through social, political inclusion, but less on the economic front. The journey that FACE and its partners, that includes you, me, and every one of us, is starting a solution that tackles the most fundamental reasons for such racial inequity: access to capital. Real solutions, and that's what the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Program is all about. It's a start of a journey that will have some bumps, for sure, but our commitment is to ensure that those bumps serve as lessons to help us achieve the vision that we want to achieve. It's nothing different. It's just equality that we want. I'll not take much of the time. I want to make sure that today is a time for you to ask questions. So I'll stop here and leave the rest of the time for you and Tiffany to have that conversation and clarify some of those things. Back to you, Robert.
Thank you so much for that, Sharif.
Thank you so much, Robert. And thank you, Sharif, for those wonderful words that we have to recognize that as a country, these inequities that exist and that we're particularly addressing today with this opportunity for the Black community, it is this loss of our ability to reach our full potential. And I would be remiss if I am out here in the West and not recognize the loss of life, those 215 children that were found at that residential school in Kamloops. That is a demonstration of the work that we need to do in this country to ensure that all Canadians are valued, protected, and are able to reach their true potential. So I want to extend my deepest sympathies and support to the First Nation community as they heal through that tragic story that we've seen in recent news. I want to spend some time with you to make sure that we talk about FACE. But today for me is about answering questions as a CEO and bringing along my team to do so. So I'm going to go into my presentation. It's going to feel as though I'm going quite fast, but that's because I want to maximize our discussion time together. So the Federation of African Canadian Economics is an organization that started in 2020 when we were looking at the programs that were rolling out to support businesses during the pandemic, particularly looking at SEBA. Instinctively, I believe that we understood that this particular program, although a great help, would not reach our Black entrepreneurs and business owners, simply because there are systemic barriers that exist within financial institutions that make it so that we are not present and able to access capital to start, grow, and scale our businesses. So this was the catalyst or the beginning when we came together with leaders from across the country that work with you. These are your Black business organizations and community service organizations to talk about what can we propose? How can we engage the government in proposing a solution to what we see as a barrier, especially at that crucial time during the pandemic and where we understood that we were in an economic crisis in our country. We understood, obviously, that there are pillars to systemic racism. As we are thinking about what are the barriers within the financial institution and the fiscal world, we also understand that by addressing economics, by ensuring that the Black community is able to, as Sharif rightly said, address the wealth gap by increasing our wealth as Black Canadians, but also creating an ecosystem where our economy is thriving, that becomes the foundation and the strength by which we can address other issues where we are overrepresented where we do not want to be and underrepresented where we should be, particularly in media, health, housing, education, and justice. So it was important for us to decide that our pressure point, our entry point would be economics. And our first step towards addressing the inequities would be through entrepreneurship. So what is it? FACE is a coalition of organizations. It's founding member organizations, which include the BBI, the Côte-Neige Black Community Association, which I was the executive director, Groupe 3737, the BBPA and Africa Center are the initial groups that came together to push this ball up the hill or pull this boat up the beach to get us to this historic announcement and program. The idea of inclusivity, the idea of considering diversity, whether it be in ethnicity or in language, for our Black community was at the heart of the development of this program. And we understood that our collective experience, which is over 100 years, would allow for us to design a program that could reach all Black business Canadians in different parts of this country, coast to coast. By engaging partners, starting off with the Government of Canada and the institutions, financial institution that we will review shortly in the next slide, it allowed for us to cast the vision of how are we going to truly build support and allyship with those who share the same common values, but also a vision for a more equitable Canada where Black Canadians can contribute at their full potential. So who are we? So again, the founding members and organization leaders that came together to draft this blueprint that we really sincerely hope you contribute to expand upon as we move forward with this institution that belongs to all of us. We're, as I mentioned before, individuals related to these organizations. So Louis Edgar, Jean-François, Nadine Spencer, Reston Southwell, Sharif Haji, and two consultants who did not represent organizations, but had a dedication to the advancement of their community. One you'll meet shortly, Victor Paris, who will be presenting his role at FACE, as well as our partner, Terry Lindor. Again, those founding organizations who are now at the leadership of FACE in terms of its governance, which represent the member organizations that structure this organization called FACE. And our board of directors will soon be moving into a call for action or a call for intention for people to join the board of directors, to have more expertise around the table in different sectors to reinforce the strength of FACE. We are a part of a very important historic program, the Black Entrepreneurship Program offered by the federal government that has three components. The loan program, which started off with a $30 million contribution from the Canadian government, a commitment of $128 million from financial institutions and credit unions, was where we started off in terms of this loan portfolio. But for those of you who tuned into our historic announcement on May 31st, you'll note that we are now at a loan portfolio of $291.3 million with the recent commitment from the BDC. So we've made history before, we've made history, folks, and this is something to definitely be proud of. And we can see now the expansion of our capacity to better serve Black entrepreneurs. And along with the ecosystem portion of this program, where different Black service organizations applied in December to have more resources to increase their capacity to serve frontline, the entrepreneurs that we hope to service with this loan program at FACE, and as well, the Knowledge Hub, which is key, because we cannot fix or address what we don't measure, is also a key component of this program. And FACE is dedicated to working in synergy with all three sectors of this program to see the efficiency and the growth of Black businesses across the country. We talked about our strategic partners already, so I do not need to go over that part. But again, we will have in another slide a more specific view of what the roles are of these institutions. Where we are across Canada. These institutions that are now at the helm of the governance of FACE cover a span across this country. And we look forward to creating relationships and affiliates and members with FACE to ensure that we reach all small micro networks where entrepreneurs are, to ensure that they have access to not only the financial resources that they need, but other resources to build their own capacity as business owners. The time is now. I think that speaks for itself. And again, I will say it is when preparation meets opportunity. And this is what we did at FACE. And we know that you too, as Black business owners, will use the sweat equity and all the preparation that you have put forward to build and start your businesses to now reach this opportunity for growth. The why is very much attached to the now. So it's important that we as a community, again, seize the opportunity to look at this initial investment by the government of Canada at $30 million, which is quite similar to an investment that was made for the First Nation community approximately 25 years ago in their institution called NACA, which now services the entire First Nation community across Canada. And they are the shepherds and the decision-making power regarding what their needs are. And this is where we need to go. And this is what our eyes are on at FACE. It's what does it look like in the future as we strengthen this global decision-making power across Canada, so we're all served equitably. So this is my favorite slide. It's essentially our subway slide, and I've touched on big parts of it. So the only thing that I will again look at is the $30 million, which has been invested by the Canadian government, along with the $128 million that has been contributed by the financial institutions. Now with the recent we are extremely ecstatic to have the BDC join us with a $130 million investment. That is our loan portfolio or our loan pool. There has also been investments, as we mentioned, into the ecosystems, and we truly look forward to working with those partners to make sure that the preparation of our entrepreneurs to apply to the loan fund is solid and is able to really give them the tools that they need and produce the documents that they require, but also in the aftercare, which is how do we support our entrepreneurs to successfully pay back this loan, to then set them on a course to be able to access larger pools of funds to support the development of their companies. This is being done through a platform that we developed specifically for this program in collaboration with our partner Mindful, which is a Black and brown owned business. And this company has developed Bobby, the Black owned business interface, to allow for us to, one, have businesses across the country create accounts and register their businesses. Remember, I talked about data. We can only fix what we measure. The other part of this program or part of this platform is this is where you apply for the loan. So there are questions in which you have to answer and of course submit your documentation, which is basically creating your profile that will then be adjudicated and treated by our team at FACE. To get a more specific lens on this platform that we've designed, I'd like to invite our partner, Terry Lindor, the CEO of Mindful, to speak to you about Bobby, the Black-owned business interface.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm so blessed to be with you guys today. Hi, folks from Toronto, from Quebec as well, speak anglophone Blacks at least. Mindful and FACE are proud to be partnering on this. This is by far the biggest digital initiative in terms of mapping out, geo-positioning, registering Black-owned businesses in the G20, if not at least in the world. That's what we're aiming for. And this is the process right now. Just so you know, as of about 2 minutes ago, we have 7,429 people in Canada that have registered. Now, if you can measure the success of any endeavor by the offer and demand, this is a clear sign to the Trudeau administration, to the powers that be, to any political figure listening to this, paying attention to this historical moment, that the demand is real. So Bobby, just to walk you through, is an AI-powered tech platform that we're jointly creating in partnership with Face. And its sole mission is, once again, to help people not just go through the application itself as an ARM technology, ARM, application relationship manager, but is also to map out businesses. Because let's make it clear, when you join Face, one of the key advantages that you have is you're going to be eventually digitally mapped, so that people could find you, customers can find you, so you could build bridge and synergies with other Black-owned business owners in order to access resources, right? Another key feature, because I see a lot of people, and I think our CEO is going to touch on this, we're asking a lot of questions at the beginning to collect a lot of data. And that has been a preoccupation by a lot of people. Let me be clear on this. Mindful is using top of the notch in terms of security and privacy. We're using services called AWS, which is the same provider. For those of you who don't know, it stands for Amazon Web Services. It is the same provider that's providing our federal government with support, as well as the United States military. So in terms of privacy of data, privacy of information, let me be clear, we're using top-notch technology. Now, moving forward, the process through which you're going through right now, and we understand some people have been having maybe a slight difficulty here and there, but as I said, 7,000, close to 500. By tonight, we should be at 8,000 registered Black-owned businesses. We're going to walk through the steps that you might have to take, because we think some people might be having problems with their browsers. What is the most optimal browser to use? What happens if for some reason it seems like the platform is getting static instead of dynamic? So we're going to get back to this after, but I'll give back the mic to Tiffany Callender. I'm blessed, Black, and highly favored to be in front of all you guys. I'm excited about the journey we're about to embark on, and I'm looking forward to actually potentially deconfining, going to Toronto and meeting you guys in a local town hall. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Terry. That's great. I would like to now introduce somebody who is a rock for the Face Initiative. This is our client, our Chief Lending Officer, Mr. Victor Paris. Now, before he begins, I want to say that Victor has been crucial in developing and crafting this loan program for you. And as you learn about his experience in commercial banking, you will know why we've chosen him as our Chief Lending Officer. To you, Victor.
Wow, Tiffany, boy, no pressure there. But, thanks a lot for those amazing words. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you, everybody in Ontario, parts of Quebec. Merci beaucoup tout le monde d'être ici avec nous cet après-midi. I realize that everybody is very busy these days. You have so many priorities, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to join us today. We'll try to make this brief, but there's a lot of information I know you're looking for. So we'll try to answer all your questions. A little bit of background about myself. I'm a career banker, as Tiffany mentioned. I've been working in the Canadian banking system as a junior account manager, right up to vice president at RBC up until not long ago, for close to 30 years, coming to you from Montreal. And I want to just start off by saying that through that voyage through the banking system, I lent money probably to thousands of entrepreneurs and watched thousands of entrepreneurs create generational wealth through using the banking system to borrow money, grow their business, and create wealth. And Haji and Sharif said it so well, for themselves and for their family. But here's the thing. Over about 30 years, I can count on one hand, maybe two, the number of Black entrepreneurs I've lent money to. So over the years, I've asked myself, why is it that Black entrepreneurs, Black people are not part of this system? And I'll give you a few insights as to why, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. I'm not teaching you anything you don't already know. There is some very significant, as Sharif again mentioned, institutional, conscious and unconscious racial bias in our government, in our banking system. There's also a very significant level of mistrust of Black people, Black entrepreneurs to the Canadian banking system. And it's because they don't see people who look like them. They don't see a Black profile. Can you imagine if you went to a bank and you looked at what you're seeing now on your screen? Biniam, Tiffany, Robert, and Sharif. It would be a completely different experience, a completely different feeling from what you see if you're an entrepreneur and walk into a bank now. Now, what's the extraordinary development has been the last few years for me, I'm a little older than most of you here, is that I have seen the profile of the banks change and so many brilliant young Black people working within the system. But the systemic barriers are still there. and I'm part of a number of networks within the banking system of young Black entrepreneurs who are expressing the difficulty on overcoming those institutional biases that exist. So what we're doing at FACE here is we're trying to overcome those biases and make this relationship much stronger. I'll get to what we're doing in more detail in a few minutes, but I want to introduce you to my entrepreneurship loan officer, who's going to be working with you Black entrepreneurs in Central and Western Canada, Biniam Habteab. So Biniam, I will let you introduce yourself.
Thank you for giving me the chance. My name is Biniam. I'm representing FACE in Western Canada as an entrepreneurship loan officer. I moved to Canada a year ago from Ethiopia, and I'm currently living in Edmonton. I'm a highly motivated person. I have an experience both in financial and private sectors. My educational background is also related to business development and accounting. I have a master's. I have a master's in business administration. I have studied in Sweden. I do have also a degree in accounting. I'm so happy to be part of this big program. One of the exciting things for me about the position is the goal of the initiative. It's to create more robust and efficient pathway to access to capital for Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners. The financial support is made in a form of loan. I was receiving several emails and calls. People thought that this thing is going to be a grant, but I want to be clear that the financial support is going to be made in a loan. But the principles and standards we developed are different from the traditional banking system. It's different. It's going to be more inclusive. As ELO, I will be your first contact person in Western Canada. We at FACE follow a holistic approach, which means no one will be left behind. If you want to apply for a loan now or in the future, your initial entry points is FACE website. Go register your business, and then you can also apply your loan application online using our website platform. Then once you submitted your application, we will going to start your application immediately. I will review your application promptly and analyze using FACE standards, and I will provide support needed by each applicant. I might ask you to submit some additional documents or make some interviews. I might make a site visit as well. I will submit my recommendations to the loan educating committee. If your loan application found out to be not satisfactory, it's not going to be the end of the world. We are part of the Black entrepreneurship ecosystem to provide services and support to the Black business owners and Black entrepreneurs. They are going to help you to enhance your capacity. Finally, I want to say I want to engage in an ongoing networking and business development activities to ensure proper market coverage, exposure, and building an active loan pipeline. You can contact me anytime using my email or my phone number, which is going to be available on our website. Your success is our success. Thank you for giving me this chance.
Thank you very much, Biniam, for your introduction. Very encouraging. I have to tell you all that we have some extraordinary, I am privileged to have extraordinary people on my ELO team. I want to introduce the team that you'll be dealing with here in Ontario and Quebec, 3 ELOs, Entrepreneurship Loan Officers, and I will let them introduce themselves now. We'll start with Ken Birch.
Thank you, Victor, and thanks for the opportunity. Of course, my name is Ken Birch. I was actually born in the beautiful island of St. Lucia. I have a 23-year career in banking and finance. My previous employer was the Royal Bank of Canada. I was the Vice President for Business Banking, covering 7 countries in the Eastern Caribbean, with a team of 14 commercial managers. Prior to that, I was a commercial manager myself in 3 countries. Prior to that, I was a personal lender. So I did a lot of personal lending, again, across 2 countries. Prior to that, I was in the client care arena, customer service arena. I'm really excited to be here to give back, to share the knowledge, share the techniques, and help our communities thrive. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm honored to be amongst the FACE team, the members, the founders, the leadership, and of course, our Black community. So thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. I'm Ese Samuel. I'm Black and proud. I'm from Nigeria, and I have a background in law. I was trained as a lawyer. Then my love for finance became very strong, and then I joined Research Savings and Loan PLC, where I became a consumer loans processor. From there, quickly I joined Diamond Bank, which later metamorphosed into Access Bank PLC. There, I was a mortgage loan officer. What we did there was, manage a federal housing scheme, and then we basically provided, proper customer service and then loan service for customers back there in Nigeria. And then I joined, and then I moved here to Canada. And then this beautiful team found me, and we're working with FACE right now, and it's been an amazing experience. And for me, it's a great opportunity to serve my brothers and sisters, and I'm happy to be here. I love the energy, I love the positivity, and basically I love everything. I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you very much.
Bonjour everyone, bonjour à tout le monde. Good morning everyone. My name is Pascalle, Kenah, and right now I work as an entrepreneurship loan officer for FACE. I'm actually very passionate about this program because it addresses many of the things I look up to, and the view of lifting up the Black community, which I love. Before joining FACE, I was working as a branch manager for Ese Financial in Montreal. And I have more than 6 years experience in prime and non-prime lending. I have a master's degree in finance, so I'm all about finance. It's really a pleasure for me to be working with this great team, and I can't wait to start assisting all of you in helping you in the best way possible to have the assistance to grow your businesses. And always know I'm very open, and you can reach out to me anytime you want. And I'll be in charge of the whole Quebec region. So feel free, French and English. J'ai vu les questions en français. So French and English, I'm in for it. And I guess we'll be hosting one for the Francophones tomorrow as well. Thank you, and I look up to meeting all of you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you very much for that. First of all, I just want to say that I am so proud of the team that we have assembled here. I would be remiss if I did not make a shout out to Ross Cadastre, who through his team, ITS Global, found these ELOs, processed them, the skill level, the commitment, and I should say the service that we got, the backup from Ross, extraordinary. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for my team here for your commitment and your engagement in this process. As you can imagine, folks, we are building this plane and taking off in an incredible short period of time, what we have accomplished in a year. It's incredible. It's taken a lot of ingenuity, a lot of patience, a lot of work, and I'm so proud to be here. So, as I mentioned before, been in commercial banking for a long, long time. The government gave us the trust to structure a loan program by Black people for Black people. But make no mistake about it, it's a loan program. We have to structure it so that we have criteria. We're going to have responsibilities to report. So how do we do that? There are criteria in place. Everybody's asking, what are the criteria? You'll have to have a business plan. You'll have to have projections. The interesting thing about this program is that we can finance you if you're a startup. We can finance you if you're just 1 year in business. Now, Tiffany has mentioned before that apart from the actual loan program, we have an ecosystem. And Michael Pinnock also mentioned that there's the BAIDS program. So if you need help in structuring your business, in developing your business plan, in putting together your projections, putting together your taxes, your financial statements, there's an entire ecosystem available for you. And the ELOs at FACE, Tiffany and myself, will put you in touch with those people to make sure that you have the capacity to access this capital. Let's talk about the loan itself. It will have interest. Interest rate, give or take 6%. It'll be based on the floating prime rate, and there will be some scale. We'll have flexibility as to how we price the loans. But if you're trying to make an idea in yourself of to yourself of what will this cost, give or take 6%. The interesting thing that we've structured is that these loans can be interest only for up to 18 months. So we'll give you a break if you need cash flow and you don't want to pay back the loan right away in capital. The loans will be very flexible. People are asking, well, how much can I apply for? The beauty of this program is you tell us what you need. You make your plan. You figure out what your business needs, and you come to us and you make a request for a specific amount. We're not going to tell you what you can apply for. We're also not going to tell you what you can do with the money, except for a few things. You can use it for equipment. You can use it for working capital. You can use it for market expansion. You can use it to build a website. You can use it to support your contractors. You can't use it to pay yourself. That makes sense, right? That's just good business. You can't use it to pay off your credit cards. That just makes good sense. But any reasonable business plan, you will, as I said before, get the benefit of the doubt from Face, and you're almost certain to get approved if you have a solid business plan. How long? The term of the loan will be anywhere from 5 years to 7 years, depending on your project. Very flexible. Collateral. We will take personal guarantees, but we're not going to be overly focused on the collateral. What we're focused on is your commitment to your business, your idea, and helping you grow your business and create wealth for you and your family and your generations. That's the focus of this program. Sure, we got to make sure we get paid back, but we're here to help entrepreneurs grow their business and become strong businesses, and ultimately help the Canadian economy. And this is what the government is looking at, right? We're Black people, we're part of this economy. We have not been participating fully in this economy, in the business sector. Face is going to change that. Now, the loans will start from $10,000 to $25,000, and we call those micro loans. We have 2 partners in Ontario and BC who are going to be doing those loans with us. Face will be doing a pilot project of those $10,000 to $25,000 loans for the rest of the country till we can find partners in Quebec and Atlantic. So at the base, $10,000 to $25,000, we'll call those micro loans. And then over $25,000 all the way up to $250,000, we'll call those Face loans. And our major partner at the moment is the BDC. So we'll have micro loans and we'll call them regular loans, $25,000 to $250,000. So the maximum loan is $250,000, the minimum is $10,000, and anywhere in between, you can make your plan, and those will be the parameters. Again, very flexible repayment schedules. The criteria that we will use, and I'm going to talk about credit score because it's something we will have to look at for everybody. And when I say credit score, I'm bringing this up because I want everybody here to know that it's not the main focus that we will have. And this is what really sets us apart from the regular banks, is that when you go for a small business loan at a bank, they're pretty much focused on your credit score. But it's important that everybody know what their credit score is. It's important for you. It's part of your own financial literacy. And it's something that is actually part of who you are. But we know at Face that it's not just who you are. We'll look at some financial ratios, again, to give us some idea of whether or not you can pay back the loan. But the most important part of what we will look at is whether or not you have the skills to run your business, whether your business really makes sense, and what we can do to help you before you apply for the loan, while you're in the process, and after you've been approved and you have a loan. We'll have an entire ecosystem to help you manage your business and make sure that you're a success. We're also going to be having a very interesting partnership with a major Canadian accounting firm that will be able to help you with your taxes, with your financial statements, and other strategic issues. So you'll have a full set of support. And again, as Biniam mentioned, nobody will be given a full decline. If you do not meet the standards that we need, we're going to help you. And this could take 6 months, however long. An interesting point, and I think some people may wonder, well, how long is this program going to last? There's no end date. It's not like a grant program where it terminates, let's say, November 2021. This program is starting now, and we have commitment from all our partners that we would be here for years to come. So while there is no urgency, obviously you want to get your documents in as soon as possible. You don't have to worry about a deadline for getting your application into Face. So I think I've covered off most of the main points of this program. There's a wealth of information on our website. I know people want to know as much as they can, and you're not going to retain everything here. This incredible ELO team that I've introduced you to will be accessible to you 24/7, if I can say that, guys. So there's a little bit of pressure, but you can go on the website, there's information there, and I'll leave a little bit of time so that we can answer questions in the chat. Again, thank you very much for joining us today, folks. We are so excited to help Black Entrepreneurial Canada grow and succeed and thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Victor. And I must say, what an incredible team. Thank you for your kind words about our organization. But this is truly for us, by us. As we head into the much anticipated QA segment, I want to ask you, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box right below the screen, okay? And we'll try to get as many answered as possible. And if we don't, we will post the answers. We'll take them away and post the answers on our FAQ space on our site, on our website, facecoalition.com.
So jumping into some of the questions, so there's actually a lot of questions speaking to how do people actually get involved from like almost like a board perspective with FACE?
So our board of directors is going through the process in terms of governance around not only identifying what are the capacities and what are the expertise that they want to include on their board, and shortly they will be making a call to intention to allow for people to put forward their intention to join the board of directors. Again, and I'm going to emphasize on this, Black Canada. Incorporated January 29th, I became CEO March 1st, and we announced the national program on the 31st of May. So we are moving at lightning speed. Glad to do it. I've got whiplash, I'm okay with it. We want to make sure that we got this program and product to you, and we're working in the best of faith with Black Canadians, and we want to ensure that there's an inclusive process and everybody can contribute to this movement.
Thank you so much for that, Tiffany, for that clarity around that.
Thank you, thank you. We have another question here. What are the delays between sending the request and receiving the response?
Yeah, I will let Victor answer.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So, and that's really, the $250,000 question. So we have a very robust platform, as thanks to Chair Nadine and the Mindful Group, that will be intaking information. When you do upload your information, you will be getting a response. The time frame for approval of a loan, and I'll make an example of someone who's uploaded their business plan, uploaded their financial statements, uploaded their projections, and we have all their information. We will commit to get back to you within 5 to 10 business days. So we're giving ourselves some leeway, but it's going to be a much quicker process than, let's say, a government grant that could take months. You're not looking at months, people. We're looking at days, a couple of weeks maximum. Understand that sometimes there may be information lacking and we may need some clarification, but our commitment is to communicate with you so that you will never be left in the dark, not knowing where your application stands. So you'll either get an automated response from Bobby, which is incredibly robust, again, a system that will track your progress. You'll be able to go back on the site and track your progress. Or if you absolutely need to speak to a live person, this amazing ELL team will be there to help you with that. Hope that answers the question.
Excellent, excellent. So the other question I have here is, do you have to be a member of FACE or one of the regional partners for you to apply for the loan?
No, all entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs across the country are eligible to apply to FACE. What we have currently is, as we mentioned, the founding members are the partners of FACE because they were a part of developing and building this machine. But as I mentioned in my presentation, our intention at FACE is to develop an affiliate and membership program for Black business service organizations to be involved. And of course, all with the vision of how to engage and service Black businesses. So you do not need to be a member or affiliate of any particular group to apply for FACE. But we do recommend absolutely that you use the resources that are available to you across this country. There are different business service organizations that are there to serve you. And we, our vision truly at FACE, in the idea of mapping out not only Black businesses, but service providers, allows us to create that synergy in the market so that you know where the help is and closest to you. I want to take this moment to address something at this point. FACE has zero intention of doing any DNA testing or anything to identify if you are Black. This program is designed for people with our understanding that we believe in the good faith of Canadians. We believe that you understand the intention of this program and that you will commit yourself to, if you identify as a Black person, but more importantly, if you feel that your skin color is a barrier to access for you in your business, then this program is for you. If you suffer under anti-Black racism, then you also understand that this program is for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe I'll just add a technical point. So you need to have a business registration number. You can be a sole proprietorship, you can be an incorporated company, you can be a partnership, you can be a startup, you can be in business for 10 years. It's all you have to be is in business.
If I could add also, you don't have to be a member of FACE, but let's be clear. The way to access the platform, the FACE platform, the way to be mapped out, even if you're not applying for loan, you have to register a profile on the FACE Coalition platform. Once you join the FACE family, you're on your way to be part of the biggest geo-positioning initiative of Black businesses, like I said, in G20 history.
Wow, I like that. I like that a lot. We have another question here. I have multiple businesses. Can I apply for the program for each of my businesses?
Absolutely. So again, as Victor just mentioned, you have to have a business number. So if you have multiple businesses and you can demonstrate the plan for those businesses and the financials related to them, you can apply to the program under those different businesses. They have to be registered businesses.
The next question I have is actually in regards to sort of some of the questions that are posed through Bobby. And I'm paraphrasing this a little bit, but it's basically saying there's a lot of questions around demographics and lifestyle data. Is there sort of, or it's asking basically, how do these questions factor into my loan?
Absolutely.
Application.
So there's a few things. The first thing that I'll say so that we can put it to rest is that the questions in the personal intake portion of the process are not being used to consider your loan application, nor will they be shared with any third parties. The idea around asking these questions are specific to understanding who you are as an entrepreneur. You are much more than an entrepreneur. You have an intersectionality, which is important to all Black Canadians that need to be considered. So while we develop our vision of Bobby and this platform, the more refined your profile is, the more likely it is for us when we start to introduce other services and other opportunities onto the platform, such as grants, such as other programs that are specific to marginalized groups. There are particular programs for women or for the LGBTQ plus program, plus community. As we evolve this platform, the idea is to have Bobby be a one-stop shop for Black entrepreneurs to find the information and the support to have access to opportunities to develop their businesses. And of course, the reason why there is a skip option is that you do not have to answer those questions. But again, you cannot fix or address what you can't measure. And the idea of collecting this not only demographic, or I should say race-based data, but to give it a fuller 360, three-dimensional view can only assist us as an organization to work on your behalf.
Thank you so much for those insights to that question. So the next question I have, for startups or new businesses that are pre-seed or pre-revenue, what are you going to be looking for? What do they have to provide to apply for the loan? Or are they able to apply for a loan if they're pre-revenue?
Certainly. So startups are definitely a part of this program. So like any sound investment, we'll need you to have a business plan. And we will be looking at your business plan to use, for lack of a more technical term, common sense to see, does this make sense? So you're pre-revenue, do you have contracts? Do you have a market? Have you researched your market? Do you have the technical skills? So all of those normal things that you would think of in terms of, what would make sense to lend money to this entrepreneur? And what is the reasonable viableness? Now, one of the interesting things from me is that we talked about systemic bias, right? So if you go into a regular bank as a Black entrepreneur, we all know there will be systemic bias. Again, for lack of a more technical term, you're really not going to get the benefit of the doubt, are you? Well, at FACE, you will. We are going to give you every chance to take this pre-revenue startup business, get it started. Now, understanding that if you're pre-revenue, pre-cash flow, you're probably going to need some other networking resources as well, right? Partnerships, maybe getting hooked up with potential clients. That's part of the whole FACE coalition and our ecosystem mandate to help you expand the potentiality of your business before you get started. We may refer you to some experts in the ecosystem, experts that we know about that may help you get this thing a little bit more solid before you start. Because I know it's a scary undertaking to have no revenue and borrow money at the same time, but we're going to help you manage that risk.
All right. There are tons of questions here, guys. There are tons of questions. And, so I'm going to try to get through as many of those as we can with the time that we have.
Doing it for a little bit, Ross. So let me add some things that maybe would help. Okay, because
awesome.
and because I'm also you're seeing my eye glide to the chat because I'm watching it as well. So 51% Black owned. This is the key. So you can have shareholders. You can be in partnership. The key to eligibility is having 51% Black owned ownership of this company. It has to be a Canadian business, so that means registered in Canada, right? And all sectors are open to apply for these loans, as well as what Victor mentioned in terms of having different. Now I've lost my thought, but I'm trying to jump ahead. Essentially,
okay.
That the business numbers are important, and you have to have business plans. Another piece that I want to say in terms of the sectors, which has come up in different ways, is that we are elated to look at how tech is going to evolve, how we're going to see us jump into headfirst into this fourth revolution, absolutely. And also the cannabis businesses, whether it be production or retail, is included. So these are questions I've got. I'm answering Kerry's like, yes, because he knows. These are the things that we're being asked. So now you can go ahead, Ross. I think I just shortened some of those questions.
You did. And I'm going to ask this question. I think Victor hinted on it a bit, but I'm going to ask it anyways, just to make sure that we covered it. How does the FACE application and funding process differentiate itself from traditional FI application and funding processes?
Great question. So first of all, as you can see, this program was structured by Black people for Black people. So you see the whole team here have the same shared lived experience as you do. So that's just more of the interface and the, how shall I say, the qualitative approach to lending that we have. Technically speaking, what we've taken is, the traditional small business lending model, which you see across the country, which I did mention, thank you, Ross, is really based on your credit score. Now, it's not based solely on your credit score, but we're going to be looking at everybody's credit score. And it's important that everybody knows what their credit score is. But we've developed a model that allows us to look at your lived experience. And let me give you an example. Many people that we've been dealing with are either first-generation entrepreneurs or first-generation Canadians. They've demonstrated extraordinary ingenuity, perseverance, character, business savvy, education, and they're not really able to access the capital to grow their business, start their business, because of the very rigid criteria that the banks use. Our criteria will take a much broader view of those qualitative issues, which we all know are so important as Black people. It's part of our process, it's part of our DNA. And so I just want to make sure that you understand that, yes, we will be looking to, as we call it in lending, control our risk, but that's more about looking at your business plan, making sure it makes sense. And the most important thing will be looking at who you are as a person.
Excellent. So in the chat, a number of people have been asking, about partnerships and whether there are Black businesses interested in projects. And one question also came out, does FACE have a networking aspect to it?
Of course, again, most desirable future, and we work backwards. So with mapping out Black businesses, right, which is phase 2. So as we collect and we geoposition all these businesses, we want to do B2B, we want business to business. How can you as a Black entrepreneur work with other Black entrepreneurs in your region or anywhere else? Then of course, there's the element of being able to demonstrate where these businesses are. So as consumers within the Black community, we can circulate our dollars with our businesses. But more than that, we can also demonstrate to the wider market where they can find us. Let's be real. We control the temperature of cool as Black people around the planet. We create trends. We create things that people love, but we've got to be able to demonstrate where we are so we can get that maximum support. But the first steps begin with us. Your first customer is your community. So the vision for Face and with Bobby is to make sure that we can create a virtual network, especially because we developed in a pandemic, but a virtual network that will allow for us to support each other in the truest fashion with our dollars and with our commitment.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Tiffany. So as we're sort of winding down and we only have a few minutes left, again, I will highly recommend anyone unfortunately didn't have enough time to get to your question, please feel to send a DM, share that question onto social media with the hashtags, and that way we can sort of see it, address it, and sort of have the conversations and dialogue around that.
I'll do one better, Robert. I'll do you one better because I see the questions coming up. So you can call 1-800-560-FACE. That is the number where you can reach us. You have to press 1 to get to client support, okay? We've addressed that. Now, on the actual platform, in 24 hours, we've integrated a chatbot. So where you can directly ask questions in terms of where you're getting pain points or sticking on the actual site. Also, yeah, the Face Support Squad, absolutely, that's who we are. And then last but not least, you can email support@facecoalition.com. And there we'll be able to return. So as we go, guys, we're going to keep making sure that you have access to support. Accompaniment is at the core of Face. And again, we want to make sure that you're able to join this. We're over 4,000 people now, I think now. That was Monday when we broke the barrier at 24 hours. We're well over that. We're excited to have you join us on Bobby to join the Face family. So these are the ways in which to get support and help.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. So I think before we wrap everything up, do we have sort of any final remarks, Tiffany? And I think we also have a video to play at the very end.
Robert, you've been a fantastic host. Thank you so much for joining us. So in my closing remarks, I would like to say thank you so much to Sharif Haji at the Africa Center, who's been an immeasurable and great partner to us in the West. And that I look forward to getting out of confinement and coming out to visit under the stewardship and the support of Sharif, to go not only from Edmonton, to go right across to BC and to meet you in your ecosystems and understand more what your needs are in Black Canada. I want to thank Victor Paris and Biniam for their wonderful work that they're doing as ELOs and our CELO at Face. This is great work, and I can tell by the spirit of these gentlemen that their heart is in the right place. They're determined to support you, and that is what we will do at Face. Ross, we want to thank you for being a fantastic host and support and your leadership in your region. So thank you very much. I want to say that I am extremely proud of our relationship and our partnership with BBPA, Mindful, and of course to my wonderful ELO team led by my CELO. I love the acronyms, CELO, Victor Paris, and of course Keisha in the background, who's my executive administrative assistant supporting us today, and also Yasmin, who is the head of our comms. I wanted to take this moment, Black Canada, to tell you that this is our time. We have the choice, and believe me, positivity is a choice, to dream together in color, particularly in Black at this moment, to cast the future that we want to see for ourselves. What will that require? It'll require that we have a shared value system. I am committed as your CEO to hold me accountable to the action that we take as an organization. But then I ask that I also can hold you accountable to the shared values that we have. Positivity is a choice. Preparation meeting opportunity is what we hope to help you do, and to make sure that we build a stronger Black Canada for all of us. So I ask that you remember that Face is a startup as well. I took my seat as CEO on March 1st, and here we are in June with a fully functional national program accepting loan applications. We've created accounts for many Black businesses and are getting ready to show the world that not only does Black Canada show up, we show out. So please bear with us, because we have you in mind and in heart as we move forward as a Federation of African Canadian Economics. Nadine.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I just wanted to close out with one of our founding members of the BBPA who passed, Gregory Regis. He said, don't believe Black people that we can't work together. It's a lie. It is a lie. We can work together. One of the most important, inspiring thing that I've seen in this initiative is the partnership of Black business leaders working together, staying up all night, knowing that we're all in this. We're for one face, one big opportunities for multiple people across the country. And my friends, my colleagues, my partners, we have to recognize the networking, the mentorship, the possibilities in this opportunity. And we have to embrace it, because our time, this time is right now, and we have to make the most of this opportunity. So thank you, merci.
Thank you. We truly have an incredible team. If we look at the leadership that was demonstrated today, we're on our way. And thank you to the organizers, Keisha in the background, really making things happen.
I also want to thank everyone for spending their precious time with us today. You know, sometimes I feel that here in the Western Canada, we're always hoping to participate more actively in some of the amazing programs that's happening Canada-wide, and this is such a great opportunity. So again, my name is Robert Tyndale.
My name is Ross Cadastre, and on behalf of the
Federation of African Canadian Economics
and myself, we wish you a great Friday, a great weekend.
And welcome to the FACE family.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Stay safe.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.